Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic: why was February chosen to be Black History Month? Why was February chosen to be Black History Month? Well, it was basically started as Black Negro Month. That was a label applied by historian Carter G. Woodson in 1926. Now, Woodson was bothered by the fact that many textbooks and other historical reviews minimized or ignored the contributions of black figures, along with his Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. Later became the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. Woodson embarked the second week in February to raise the awareness of the accomplishments and stories of black Americans who actually invented or served in the Civil War and other events that took place during the times of slavery, inventions, and events such as the Civil War. Now, Woodson chose that week specifically because it covered the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. Now, the ensuing publicity led many mayors and college campuses to recognize the week. Through the years, there was a groundswell of support, which allowed the occasion to stretch throughout the entire month. In 1976, Republican President Gerald Ford made Black History Month official, saying that he was urging everyone to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout the history. Now, ever since February 1976, the United States has celebrated the achievements of African Americans during Black History Month. The month-long celebration puts these accomplishments, milestones in focus via media and in classrooms. And what I'm going to be doing on this channel throughout the month, I'm going to talk about accomplishments by black inventors, black men and women who served during the Civil Rights era, mainly Rosa Parks. We'll talk about open heart surgery, mathematics. I'm going to go way back, and I'm going to dedicate each video to someone that has helped make the black community great. Now, it's not great today, but the point is, I'm going to be talking about history because we had figures in our history that we don't know about because schools don't talk about them. And again, going back to a little politics, when you have liberals in charge of everything, particularly your public school system, you have to understand that the NEA, which is the National Education Association, which is a large teachers association, actually makes the curriculum. So black history isn't taught as much. Now, you can go to some HBCUs like Hampton, Virginia Union, Langston University, Bethune-Cookman. You'll learn more about black history. And I'm also getting into black fraternities. I'm going to talk about mathematics, engineering. We're even going to go into Egypt because if you think about it, a lot of your African American history started in the continent of Africa. But of course, we already know Africa was colonized, and that was to keep that continent from being the most powerful continent in the world. Now, along with the good information and the good accomplishments that blacks did achieve, there were also some errors within black history that were not so good. We're going to talk about slavery. There was black slave owners as well. A lot of us don't know about that. We're going to get into Hottentot Venus, which she was known as Sarah Bartman. And what I want everybody to get out of this channel is a brief overview of what really happened in the past with black Americans. Because many black Americans don't even know where we came from. They don't even know half these individuals who actually invented open heart surgery, the elevator, the stoplight. And these are items that were refined, of course, by whites, and they're used today. But I'm going to dedicate this whole month to black history. Every video from today to the 28th. I'm going to talk about Jesse Owens, some of your great sports figures like Hank Aaron. To me, he's still the reigning home run king. Although Bobby Bonds has hit more home runs, you have to put Hank Aaron in the mix. Satchel Paige, Jim Brown. Not only was he a great football player for the Cleveland Browns, but he was a civil rights activist. We'll talk about Marcus Garvey. We're going to talk about how the NAACP got started. By the way, that's not a black organization. It was actually started by more whites, with the exception of W.E.B. Du Bois. We've had great singers during the time, such as James Brown. In fact, James Brown was one of the first entertainers who actually owned radio stations. You know, I'm from the Baltimore area, and he used to own, it's no longer on the air, but if some of you elderly people know about this radio station, it was called WEBB. It was on the AM dial, 1360, right along with WWIN 1400. These were R&B radio stations that played James Brown music, and I believe he owned both of them. I know WEBB used to be located off of Garrison Boulevard, northwest Baltimore. So these are some of the accomplishments that I'm going to discuss. Another aspect of black history, and it's pretty recent. You always hear that black people don't own anything, but Robert Johnson, he owned BET before he sold it to Viacom. But he is the owner of it used to be called the Charlotte Bobcats. He's the one that got Charlotte a new basketball team when the Hornets moved to New Orleans and became the New Orleans Hornets before they changed the name to the New Orleans Pelicans, and now they got the Hornets name back. I believe he and Michael Jordan are the owner of that team. We have a number of black figures in areas that nobody knows about because the media is not willing to put out the information. The reason why the Jewish media won't put out the information is because they don't want us to know. Kathy Hughes, some of the radio stations that you hear today, remember her on WOL 1450 AM. Well, she's the owner of Radio 1. In fact, she owns a few radio stations in Indianapolis, and one of them is WTLC. She also owns WNUW down there in 93.9, The Beat, right here in Indiana. So, these are black men and women who have actually done something for black America, but they don't get recognized because when it comes to African Americans today, we see nothing but negativity. Like it or not, President Obama is the first black president. You have to give him his respect. You don't have to agree with his politics, but he was the first black president. Again, we have Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, Huey Newton, rap groups who were with the political power of black people. Public Enemy came out in 1987. They're from Long Island. Of course, everybody's heard of Chuck D and Flavor Flav, the advent of hip hop. We go back to Washington, D.C., Go-Go with Chuck Brown, the godfather of Go-Go. These are some of the entertainers sports athletes that I know about. We had newscasters such as Max Robinson, Robin Roberts, Oprah, Montel Williams. So, with all the negativity and the stereotypes that are given to African Americans, you have a number of them who have achieved. And I want to make sure I deliver this message during Black History Month with a clear-cut perspective so all of us understand that black people aren't the thugs and the criminals that you see on TV. There are actually a number of them, such as the Tuskegee Airmen, who have participated in the society to build. Let's go back to Black Wall Street, Rosewood, Omaha, Nebraska. Now you have communities such as Kettering, Largo, Upper Marlboro, and down there in Atlanta. Now, I want to tell you this. A lot of this information that I'm getting came from the Jim Crow era. Black people prospered during the era, even better than some white folk. Like black folk weren't even on welfare. They had intact families on the Jim Crow era. And that lasted from around the 1860s to 1970, right in that area in the South. But we'll get more into that. What I wanted to do tonight was to give you an overview of what I'm going to be doing. And now you have an understanding of why February was chosen as Black History Month. And again, if you want to get into the political aspects of it, it was not a Democrat that made February Black History Month. It was a Republican. I want everybody to remember that. It was President Gerald Ford. He came after Nixon. So, just want everybody to like this video because it's good information because of the examples that I have provided. And if you have any other examples that you would like for me to do, please let me know about it. I'll be happy to talk about the positive and, of course, the negative forces that have contributed to Black history, because it's very important that we know this information, because the public schools and the colleges aren't providing you with this information. So when you get out in the real world, you don't know who you are. But at the end of this month, you will have a good idea. And it will encourage you to do more research, because there's fascinating information about our own history as black people. That's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Wednesday, February 1st, 2017. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Monday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. If you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in any controversy, social, emotional, or I don't even like debating issues. We have other channels who are fantastic at putting that information out. What I do here at the 401 Talk Zone radio show, I give you education. And the education is for you to apply to real world so you understand the challenges of the real world so you'll be able to progress without going down the wrong road. Sure, we all make mistakes. But if you get information from people like myself who have had our fair share of experiences, and particularly this goes to the younger generation and some of the older generation, if you're willing to listen, you will succeed. Certainly takes work, but you'll have the tools, and that's what I'm providing you. So I keep everything realistic but positive because knowledge is power. And if you have a business or a topic or even a YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube and or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you'd like to leave a comment, make sure you leave it under the video, but your comments must be pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. That's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other and have a wonderful and blessed night. Good night.